The German service of the Namibian Broadcasting Corporation has been in existence since 1979 and is a public broadcaster committed to preserve and promote the German Namibian culture. Its purpose is to build bridges between the diverse cultural groups of the country, as well as to promote mutual understanding among different language groups. Now, joining us in studio to tell us more about the station and its input in celebrating World Radio Day is Funkhaus field producer Toni Uapingene. Well, Madam Uapingene, herzlichen guten Morgen. I tried.
You tried. Also ein herzlichen guten Morgen. Indeed, it is herzlich because the weather is great out there. Good morning.
Good morning to you too. Well, I really tried with the German. First of all, I want to understand, you were just explaining to me that the pronunciation is not Funkhaus, it's Funkhaus. What is Funkhaus? What does it mean?
Yes, indeed. Having the English background, you would want to say Funkhaus because of the U, but in German the U is pronounced U. So it's Funkhaus. Funkhaus means basically just means radio, like a production station, Funkhaus.
Now let's talk about this Funkhaus radio station, its history and how it has evolved over the years.
Yes, Funkhaus has been in existence since 1979, which is now nearly over 40 years, I would say. It started then. Interesting enough, we do also have a colleague who's been with us since then, who's still a field producer, who's a freelancer right now, but he's a specialty in music. Funkhaus has been in existence since then, covering a diversity of things, doing current affairs, having music, having programs for children, reaching different market people, people from all walks of life, and it used to be known as Deutsches Hörfunksprogramm, which translated to German Service, NBC. But then, since they noticed that we need to dissociate from a specific ethnic group, which is German, of course the station is German, but there are different listeners that come in, that listen, for instance, to Schlagerparat or the classical music. They named it Funkhaus, rather the house of a radio, but like the production house, Funkhaus.
All right. Now, would you say it's important to celebrate radio?
Oh, definitely. I strongly believe that it's important to celebrate radio because what is radio? Radio is one of the oldest production medium which reached a wide variety of people. You know, radio brings people and cultures together. Despite of socioeconomic conditions, you know, radio informs, radio entertains. Radio is also one of the intimate yet social medium of information that we have currently. We might have internet and so forth, but with radio you can be interactive. Yeah, so it's very key that we celebrate radio.
And how has the response been like from the German community in Namibia?
The response has been great. Like I said, that we cater for different people of different walks of life. You know, you might be in the studio, the presenter, or on the field gathering information, but not knowing exactly who you're reaching that time. You might be talking to a farmer, you might be talking to a businessman, you might be talking to somebody who's at the pit of life, you know, and then that specific message that you brought through or that a pastor brought through gave them hope, you know. They've been very responsive to the station, thanking us now and then, you know, being inspired, being informed, being educated, especially during the pandemic time as well. They're very grateful for it. So
very well. Now, Toni, the theme for the 2022 World Radio Day is Radio and Trust. So explain to us how this theme speaks to Funkhaus.
Yes, radio and trust. That is, as a radio producer, presenter, every member of the radio, the trust is one of our key aspects of our work, because why? The information needs to be accurate, the information needs to be correct, the information needs to be verified. It speaks to all of us. When there is a level of verification, the sources from which we get our information from before sending it out there is very key, that it's reliable and trusted. So radio and trust is basically the foundation of all the information that goes out, be it entertaining or be it just news.
Now, I want us to talk about you,
Yes.
Toni. As a field producer, you're also a presenter, right?
Well, at the moment now, because of the level of the stuff that we are,
Yeah.
at some point we're all jack of all trades
Yes.
to some extent. So I might stand in and say I can be a producer. I am a producer occasionally.
All right.
Yes.
Okay, so tell us about what your job entails.
What my job entails right now is a bit more than just field production because we're limited. As a field producer, yes, we go out. We the guys on the field. We the ones having interaction with people, calling, reaching out to the remote areas, or yes, where information needs to be gathered and it's brought in. We're not really necessarily stationed in the studio, but nonetheless, since I said how our staff member looks like, you do a bit of everything. You know, you can be part of the recording process, or I'm part of the recording process sometimes when somebody comes in for an interview, specifically the religious department, or I present on days like maybe a Human Rights Day or those kind of stuff. You know, I present a show, I edit, you know, to bring out the quality.
Wow.
You know, when people listen to a show, to somebody who had an interview, maybe on a repeat, to cut out the it looks like the person is so eloquent and so forth. Yes, they might be, which they are, some of them too, yes, but just to add that quality to it, somebody needs to edit, somebody needs to tune in, somebody needs to bring the theme to introduce you to a particular show, to set your mind into it, to entertain you, inform you, and then escorts you out. So that's the behind the scene type of work that is not really presenting, but yet still you prepare the scripts and then you can still present. That's also part of the work of a
field producer.
A field producer at Funkhaus.
Now, I can relate to you in the sense that I am also on screen, but I also do a bit of editing, directing, behind the scenes work.
Exactly.
So I'd like to ask you then, which do you enjoy most?
Well, putting me on the spot right now. But well, to be honest, I enjoy presenting.
Really?
Yes. But on the other hand, if you're behind the scene, the pre-work before presenting, which you can definitely relate to, has not been done right or fully, you struggle to come and present fluently or easily.
It takes a team for us to look good on TV. It takes a team.
It really takes a team. You can't do it just with one-handed only. Yeah.
So presenting is it?
Presenting is it for me. Presenting it is it. And on a TV platform will be even greater.
I think you're well suited for a TV platform, actually. You look very beautiful on our set.
Thank you. Thank you. Anticipating it soon.
All right. So how is Funkhaus planning to celebrate World Radio Day?
Yes, so NBC, the radio at large, all the stations are celebrating it, which we're going to be part of it by having the World Celebration Day in Rehoboth.
Okay.
Yes, it's at Kaiser FM. So we'll produce that live. It's going to be, yes, a live production through a whole, it's starting at 9 o'clock until 11 o'clock. And then after that, there's also a discussion. And then after that, there's still interviews going to come in the different shows that we have during the day, where we have interviews from people that are on the field there, you know. So that's how we're celebrating it. And at large, it's a radio station. It's Funkhaus at the end of the day. The personalities celebrate the radio anyways. So, yeah.
So what would you say are the most popular programs at Funkhaus?
The most popular program is the Good Morning Show, which is known as Frühaufsteher.
Okay.
Yeah, that's like getting up early, or the early birds, I would translate it straight. It's Frühaufsteher. Another one is Blick in die Welt. You know, Blick in die Welt is an outlook in the world. It's also a current affair program. It brings in current news and all that. And then there's also another one, 5. Stunde. That's like in the afternoon, where there's an engagement more of the community, which is diverse. It can be the tourism sector, and then it also still can go into trade, it can go into music, birthday celebration. So I reckon those. But it really depends on the listeners at the end of the day, yeah.
Now, earlier on, I had a conversation with Magnaim, our colleague from Okati FM, from Mashakati, and she mentioned that they also stream their programs on Facebook. Is Funkhaus also making use of virtual platforms?
We are currently not, yes, but we're definitely looking at that, because we do have interested listeners which are not necessarily based in Namibia, you know, for the frequency tuning in. But we're definitely strongly looking at that. As we also have some programs that come from Germany and so forth, they would definitely be interested in tuning into the radio and hearing programs for them.
All right, very well. Now, in conclusion, please share with us your final remarks.
My final remarks are that Radio, like I said, radio is a companion. You know, tune in, listen in. It can accompany you wherever you are, on your way to work, at work, in the evening at home. Keep on listening to the radio. Stay tuned and stay connected. Also in Funkhaus we say Deutsch gehört, gehört.
Meaning?
Meaning German heard, heard. It's directly translated, but it's like German is being heard and heard. So yes, Deutsch gehört, gehört.
Oh, wow.
Is my slogan that I end with.
It was such a pleasure to meet you, colleague.
Yes, thank you.
All right.
Thank you so much for having me.
That was Toni Uapingene, Funkhaus field producer, talking to us about the activities at Funkhaus radio station. We'll be back to continue the segment shortly. Stay with us.